When someone buys a pair of shoes online, the worst-case scenario is a minor return process. But aesthetic treatments are different. We are measuring the contours of a client's face, altering their body, and directly influencing their public confidence. Because the physical and emotional stakes are high, potential clients carry a heavy load of anxiety. Before they ever pick up the phone, they are asking whether the provider is safe, if the results will look natural, and if they will feel comfortable during the procedure. This timeline shows the discovery journey. Starting with a Google search, glowing reviews cause trust to surge upward. Clicking to the website, they expect that credibility to continue. Instead, trust plummets. The social proof vanishes, replaced by corporate marketing. Without the voices of previous patients to back up those marketing claims, the client is left alone with their initial anxieties. Their fears regarding safety and outcomes, which were briefly quieted by Google, return the moment the third-party validation disappears. The psychological friction of that uncertainty becomes heavier than their desire for the treatment itself. Rather than taking a risk, they simply close the tab. Many practices attempt to fix this with a dedicated testimonials page, but buyers recognize the difference between a verifiable Google review connected to a public profile and a curated quote typed out by a marketing team. While a user browses the site, they are actively running a comparative checklist, evaluating specific technologies offered, gauging the office atmosphere, and measuring the brand's overall professionalism. The irony is that the vast majority of aesthetic practices already possess the exact asset required to answer those questions. They have dozens of detailed patient stories, but they leave them isolated on a third-party search engine. By keeping your most persuasive evidence trapped solely on Google, your own website is forced to work twice as hard to convince skeptical traffic to book a consultation. To solve this, we have to look at the website as a friction funnel. We need to systematically inject proof of patient satisfaction at the precise moments where user hesitation naturally peaks. When a visitor first lands on the homepage, their hesitation is broad. They want to know if the brand feels credible. Here, the injected reviews should highlight foundational signals: a clean environment, a professional staff, and a welcoming atmosphere. This diagram illustrates what happens next. As the user moves deeper into the site, their mindset shifts. They are no longer evaluating the clinic as a whole. They are evaluating specific physical outcomes for a particular procedure. If someone navigating toward injectables is presented with a glowing review about a laser facial, the psychological connection breaks. A generic compliment fails to answer the highly specific fears associated with needles and facial symmetry. We call the solution intent matching. A patient looking into fillers requires targeted reassurance about natural-looking results and physical comfort. When the review matches the specific intent of the page, the user advances. On a treatment page, an explicit description of a successful patient outcome carries far more persuasive power than the mere presence of a 5-star rating. Eventually, the patient reaches the consultation page. This single web form represents the point of highest emotional resistance in the entire digital journey. Placing a reassuring patient story right next to the submit button acts as a final calming mechanism. It provides the logical justification the brain needs to push through that last wave of hesitation. But execution matters. A common mistake is dumping dozens of reviews onto a single page, creating an endless wall of text. Med spas require a clean visual aesthetic. Clutter can negatively impact the perceived premium quality of the brand. There is also the issue of trust decay. A glowing paragraph from 3 years ago does not reassure a patient about what the clinic's standard of care looks like today. Effective review implementation is an exercise in precision and freshness. A small number of highly relevant, recent patient stories will always outperform an outdated massive text. Integrating these reviews directly into your website's architecture bridges the gap between initial interest and a final booking. A first-time visitor sees the same visible credibility on your treatment pages that they originally found on Google. For aesthetic practices, the primary hurdle to acquiring new patients is rarely a lack of market awareness. It is almost always a surplus of consumer uncertainty. The problem is the execution. Manually polling fresh Google reviews, matching them to the correct treatment pages, and updating them month after month requires constant web development resources. That exact structural bottleneck is why Reputation Riser was built specifically for the aesthetic industry. The software identifies your strongest Google reviews and places them across your specific service pages, matching your site's design without requiring manual updates. It continuously feeds fresh social proof into your funnel. Your best marketing asset is already written. Stop leaving it stranded on a search engine. Use Reputation Riser to bring that trust onto your own site and turn hesitant browsers into booked consultations.